All right, guys. Awesome. Welcome to the Independent Investor Channel live stream on Friday. I think it's April 17th, something like that. I don't know. It's harder to track time being kind of locked in place and still trying to, play it by ear here with this thing going on. It's been interesting. It seems like the stock market is going one way. And what we're dealing with worldwide, maybe potentially going its own way as well. So interesting times, but a ton of stuff to talk about. I've got Junior Stock Investor on retainer. He's going to pop on tonight after we get done with a little bit of house cleaning and a little bit of shot out. A ton of folks have made their way in prior to the live stream, and I want to thank you for that. No doubt about it. But we always typically kick off the live stream with some shout outs, and I have a lot for tonight, honestly. And in no particular order, I see Matt Money in the group. He'll get the first shout out tonight. I typically try to random bingo draw these if I can, but certainly want to shout out and give some recognition to some folks in the community, man. YouTube is a very individual, and everybody's doing a really great job in the community. Matt Money and Kyle with Passive Income Investor, and I didn't catch those two at the beginning of a 3-hour live stream. However, I did catch Dave with Hidden Freedom Investing. So, to come on and spend their time doing that, we ended up at the end of that stream talking about how great it would be to retire to the Philippines. So go figure. But those guys are freaking awesome, man. And keep on doing the great work. Keep on hustling. I will single Kyle out for a second because that dude, it seems like there's like 3 or 4 of them on the internet right now, but I'm pretty certain there's only one. But as far as the daily upload schedule, that's pretty awesome. So if there's any opportunity to support Kyle on his mission, please go ahead and do so. That's pretty awesome. I tip my hat to that. I've been doing YouTube long enough to know how difficult that can be. Just don't burn yourself out, partner. But I tell you what, he probably has enough energy for anybody in this group, and he's probably just the individual to do it. And I'd like to see hard work paid off. I really do like to see that kind of activity. It seems to me like he's hungry, and the work is really what speaks volumes with me, to be honest with you. And I think that's pretty awesome. And you're getting at least my attention. So kudos to you. Gen X Dividend Investor is in the house. Interesting shout out for Gen X this week, meeting a interesting milestone. And for nothing else, for people who come into the community and look to draw some awareness to the investing landscape, Gen X Dividend Investor just reached a milestone of a 50K dividend yearly payout. And that is incredible, guys. If there was kind of a flagship goal of any dividend investors, investing goal, that would certainly be right there at the top. The opportunity to build a portfolio with his low beta. I know how much he really relies on the fact that his portfolio is relatively safe and it's built with an emphasis on dividends. But to be able to generate that type of income passively by just being an investor and holding that level of quality certainly gets recognition from me. It's well-deserved and good on you. I think we should celebrate that kind of success. For the folks out there who might be just starting investing, and they look at that and they say, well, I'll never be there. I beg to differ. I'll never be there is an excuse not to get invested. It really is. And I think instead of looking at it as one of those hurdles that you could never get over or a goal that you could never achieve, be thankful that you get to come in and rub shoulders with somebody like a Gen X Dividend Investor and a ton of other great channel creators, all content creators looking to wealth build with portfolios that range anywhere from an under $10,000 portfolio, anywhere up to 7 figures in the portfolio. So what a great opportunity. So kudos to you, Gen X. That's an awesome milestone. And I would venture to guess that that's probably one of the top goals I think that a dividend investor could reach, is to get that passive income up to a nice round number like that. All right. I do have a shout out here for Ryan, who runs the Independent Investor channel. You guys might know Ryan. He's pretty interesting, kind of a down-to-earth fella, but reached the 20,000 subscriber threshold this week. The only reason why I would shout out the Independent Investor channel, because I know Ryan very well, and I know he doesn't really put a whole heck of a lot of value in that number, other than the fact that it's a round number and it's fun to disclose to the group. Here's the thing. 20,000 subscribers is just a start, okay? This project that I started 3 years ago on this channel was never ever aimed at building an audience virally overnight. It really never was. And I heard a podcast this week that kind of put my perspective in check. And it came from a friend of mine who's also going to get shot out tonight on this live stream, who's Ryan Scribner, who's got about a little over 500,000, maybe over 600,000 now, who's counting, well-deserved subscribers. But he was able to really bring it home for me and put a lot in perspective. I was a little bit losing a touch of my motivation over the last couple months anyway, and I go through my swoons of motivation. But he really brought it home for me, and thank you to Ryan Scribner for really making me understand that whether or not you have 50 views on your videos, or 1,000 views, or multiple thousands of views, or tens of thousands of views, each and every one of those views represents an individual on the other end of that, either clicking the subscribe button for you, or hitting that like button for you, or hitting the thumbs down button, which I've got a few of those. But all the like, man, I am thankful for every single one of those subscribers. Again, I've always contended, and the folks who follow me on the channel know that 20,000 subscriber mark I take in stride. I don't get to truly make the measure of impact on my channel. I allow that to be defined by the community who has taken, listened to, learned, internalized, and deployed this information, and are starting to, if not really intimately enjoying some of the successes that can be rendered by following some of the disciplines that I talk about. And investing is just that. It is a discipline. It's not one of those adventures. It's not one of those things that you can just deploy pure emotion with and just jump up and down and be all excited about. It really does have to be a discipline that you'll approach, and you'll have to know that you're going to make mistakes. And hopefully we're doing our job on this channel. I believe wholeheartedly that we are. I wouldn't do this message if it wasn't for that very rationale, in that I do believe that in some form or fashion, we are in fact reaching people. And that is ultimately the goal, to leverage the social media opportunity to talk to an audience that you could never, ever talk to in person. That's for sure. But if you just think about it from the context, if you're one of those newer channel creators out there and you're getting, 100, 500, 1,000 views per video, just imagine that same 1,000 subscriber group in a room, right? All right. How many people does it take to fill up a room? A couple hundred. So the power of social media is not to be understated. But I do want to take the opportunity as well to acknowledge another milestone on the channel, and that is on the Facebook group, on the Independent Investor channel. We just surpassed 2,000, and that's one of those products that I really value. It has really come to a place that I envisioned it to be, and that is a drop point for information from people. And it's evolved to a place where I've got about 10 administrators in there. I want to thank each and every one of those folks. But just in particular, I do want to thank Ernest and Jared and Adolfo and Raymond. Those folks, man, they run that Facebook group. And I tell you what, man, I had a discussion with Raymond this week that absolutely was phenomenal. And that is what it's all about. It's about making yourself better as an investor. It's about challenging what it is that you think you know, never becoming complacent, always looking to sharpen and evolve as an investor. And this is one of those gigs that you'll get involved with, never to really become any type of expert. In other words, you're not going to have this thing licked ever. Okay. So if you have grand delusions of getting involved with investing or getting involved with this community, I will set your mind at ease and let you know that it is a process. It is not a revelation. Okay. It's not one of those things that you're going to tune into and your life is going to change overnight. Now, the message in and of itself is empowering. There's no doubt about it. This information can put you on a track to definitely change your life. Okay. You'll be reflecting back over your life and you'll remember the very time that you got involved with investing, and not just investing from a shallow perspective. I'm talking about making it part of your life. All right. That's the legit part about it. And some of the folks that I've already shot out, guys like Matt Money and some of these other folks, Gen X and myself, it's part of our lives. It really is. And I've got JMac as on the list here, JMac Investing as well. Give him a shout out for the Wednesday live streams. What a cool opportunity, man, to take a midweek break and pulse into a live stream. I don't know. I find myself kind of making time around that 8:30 block to catch JMac, and he's starting to scratch away and get even more subscribers in there every Wednesday. And kudos to JMac as well. That was pretty cool. That was a good breakdown this week of talking about what needed to be talked about, those companies that are going to be retaining and maybe even increasing their dividend. And unfortunately, some of those companies that are going to be halting their dividend or suspending their dividend indefinitely going forward as they start to really understand what level of carnage is going to come across their balance sheets here. So JMac Investing, definitely. I absolutely want to make a shout out to one of the subscribers of the channel, Mr. Christopher Blaine, who's been with me since the beginning of time. I'm not kidding. This dude is legit. All right. Just got something in the mail today from Chris, and it was some homemade syrup and some hot sauce that I was like, okay, you know, I can handle some Texas Pete and some freaking Frank's hot sauce and maybe even some Tabasco. Nah, I tried this thing and it lit my freaking hair on fire. So I spent about a half hour after I tried this hot sauce with an ice cube in my mouth. It was that crazy good. And it was that crazy hot. So Chris, man, thank you so much. The homemade syrup is incredible. I really appreciate the gesture, and that's freaking awesome. My kids will love the heck out of that syrup. It'll be gone quick, but I really appreciate the gesture, man. I think that's pretty awesome, and it just goes to show how grateful folks are in the community. I had a Zoom meeting this week actually through the channel on my own time. I had a couple of subscribers from New York City who hit me up and said, hey man, we need to talk if you don't mind. Absolutely not. It may be something that I look to exploit on a little bit more of an individual basis, just from an awareness perspective, and a personal finance discussion, you know, talking about some of those disciplines that we can all do better: budget control, debt reduction, saving to cash, you know, good spending habits, things like that. And it's a lot of fun to hear people's proposal about what they're thinking and how they're looking to get exposed for the future. And I was glad to do it. They asked me how much I wanted in return for a charge, and I said, just share the channel. That's all you need to do. It's not about money at this point. And any subscriber that makes their way and feels like there's value in my particular message and anybody else in this group, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I really do. But anything less than 25,000 subscribers on this channel, you guys are plank owners, okay, in my mind. And that goes a long way with me. sitting through some of that raw content when we start making YouTube and we're unpolished and we're unrefined and we make editing errors and we make errors in our delivery and we make errors in our dialogue. You guys hopefully have witnessed an evolution in my style and my delivery. And I want to evolve in this channel because I take it very, very seriously. Whenever you're discussing money, it's one of those topics that can be very enjoyable. Okay. Investing can be fun. That's why I do it. And as I've evolved over the last couple decades, investing for me has introduced and always presented those challenges that, when you start, you meet elementary challenges, but as you start to manage more money and start to really look at opportunities that are presented in the market as just that, as opportunities to be capitalized on, and it becomes an interesting challenge to me to define my parameters for risk and what it means to come out over the last couple of weeks in my stock market swing trading activity with just shy of $20,000. So the reason why I declare that to you guys is to not only provide a success story, because it is. If anybody sat across from me on a YouTube channel and said, I just made 20 grand in the last month swing trading stock, it would get my attention. It would get my attention. And we have to take it in context. Am I a day trader? No, I'm not. I enter into good quality positions in companies and I may keep it for a half a day. I may keep it for a whole day, sometimes maybe a couple days. And look to skim profits off and channel stock and do that. And I'm pretty good at it. The level of engagement that I have in my swing trading activity is indicative of my discipline as well, because with the trading profit that came out of it, came out of some self-scrutiny. Did I do enough? Did I do too much? How much risk did I put on during those particular trades? And in every case, I was absolutely able to give myself a pass on the level of exposure that I put to work in the market and the decisions to take risk off of the table. So there comes a time, I guess, in the evolution of an investor where the stakes do go up. Certainly, I've got definitely different aspects of different levels of portfolio building initiatives that I'm under right now. See, as a portfolio holder with $350,000, $400,000, I'm still portfolio building. Okay. So we all need to understand with regard to our age and the level of worth that we're at the current juncture. It happens fast, guys. It really does. I was going back over some old thumbnails and showing some of the portfolio reviews, and it's amazing how the larger the amount of money gets, the more we kind of lose track of some of those milestones that we passed as we went through. And I would just say this to new investors: if you haven't made your first 10,000 or you haven't made your first $25,000 mark, maybe first and foremost, you need to set that as a financial milestone for yourself, right? If you're still working on that first 1,000 or first 5,000, break down money. Okay. Don't invest blindly without any type of financial goal and without any type of discipline for yourself to follow. But if there were any give back, I could say is, make sure that you're acknowledging those milestones as they come across, because they're important and you don't get them back. And a true investor is always really trying to get to that next level. For me, it's really not about the money anymore. I am a very happy person no matter what. For me, in one word, it means security. That's it. Okay. If you guys want an insight on my financial goal going forward, an investing portfolio that renders some level of dividend security is just that. It's security. It doesn't give you any type of permission to go and just fall off the wagon and disregard all of the disciplines that it took to get you there. Because I think when you're disciplined psychologically in that way, you start to kind of get used to a lifestyle. And I came out with a couple videos this week, hopefully, that struck at the heart of the investor psychology and making people understand, man, that if you're not of a positive mental mindset and you're going to try to get involved in the stock market, good luck to you. All right. I have hope for all people. I really do. But you have got to be squared away in some of the other aspects of your life before you try to tackle this bear, because this is a humbling opportunity and it's going to take all of your wits to stay strong on it and make sure that you can remain disciplined on your program. All right. So I just want to thank everybody for making their way in. I believe that was all the shout outs that I had this week. So thank you so much. And again, I really appreciate everybody's effort in the community. I know Junior Stock Investor is waiting. I just love having Junior on, man. It's freaking awesome. Not only is he just a great guy, but he's got some really, really good insights about investing, and he's got some notes here that he's going to help me share with the group. That way I can render some focus on some of the comments that have been coming through as well. So I'm going to bring Junior on and give him the premier slot here. He was the first one to pop on here, and hopefully he can render 15, 20 minutes of his time sharing his experience with the group. So without further ado, I'll bring Junior on. You got me still, Junior?
Yep. You got me good, Ryan?
Yeah, I got you fine, buddy. I'm going to put the ears on just a sec.
All right.
All right. Super cool. Thank you for coming on, Junior. I really appreciate you, man. It's awesome.
Thank you for having me, man. I want to congratulate you on having 20,000 subscribers, man. So that's a huge accomplishment. It really is.
That's a lot of work, man. Doing YouTube is crazy. There's definitely ebbs and flows on your level of motivation. And I've learned really just to focus on my program and do what it is that I do. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. But I was holding myself to an unfair standard there for a while. And I've done away with a lot of that and kind of focused my efforts on my program and the people who consume the message. So thank you for that, Junior.
Yeah, and if you can get me on for 2 hours on YouTube, you're doing something well, because there's some videos I can't even stand being on for even 5 minutes. Yeah. So you're putting out good quality, man. And again, I want to congratulate you on that milestone, man.
Thank you, my friend.
And I want to say hi to everybody on the group chat. Happy Friday to everybody. Hope everybody had a blessed day today. And, of course, we know the market's been up for the past, almost 2 weeks, right? It's crazy. It's to the point where for new investors, be careful. You definitely want to build a cash position because with these earnings reports, we obviously have more coming out. I don't see it being positive. We still have, up to 10 million people unemployed right now. Obviously, I just drove into New York today, no traffic. So that's a big concern there, because every time you go to New York on a weekday with no traffic, that's not good at all. New York is, obviously everybody knows it's one of the biggest cities in the nation. And for no cars virtually, it's dangerous. So I just want to tell everybody to pick hot, good quality stocks. I wanted to come on a couple weeks ago, but I was tired. But I wanted to talk about quality versus the hype stocks. And I know I see a lot of young investors talk about Carnival Cruise, NRZ, which I personally had NRZ. And true story, I'm not making this up, I sold it before they suspended their dividend by 90%. And the reason why I sold it is because when Disney was down, I was like, what stock I can sell that, that I don't really need in this portfolio where I can get a good quality stock. And it was NRZ. And I saw the dividend yield at 15%. I was like, you know what? It's only a matter of time they're going to cut this dividend, because they're not going to be able to sustain paying this dividend to any shareholders at 15% yield. So I sold that. And then no lie, literally a week or two after that, I heard they suspended the dividend by 90% from 50 cents per share to 5 cents. And I know a lot of people, actually a kid that follows Rico Suave investing. If anybody follows him, he actually has a good channel. I think one of his subscribers commented it and said they put NRZ at 60% in their portfolio. And the reason why he did that, because he wanted to compound his money faster, right? So he can buy other stocks. 60%. Even when anybody puts well over 10% for one company in their portfolio, is like, okay, it's a little bit much, but he put 60% so he can compound his money faster. I kid you not, I was crying, laughing when I saw that. I felt bad, but I was just like 60% of NRZ in his portfolio.
It's like new investors sometimes get involved and they think that they've got this like brilliant idea that nobody else has ever thought of, and it blinds you to the very ease of, if you looked at a Gen X portfolio or my portfolio, you'd recognize every holding in there. It's not rocket science. You're always looking to get the highest quality of the quality. And if you want to go with a little bit of a more speculative play, in this case, I wouldn't even consider it spec. But I think the problem there to earmark it is to identify when you've got too much allocated to any one holding. I don't know if there's any holding in my portfolio. I would venture to guarantee that they're not over 5%, but I would say maybe even 4 or 3% of the total value. So that's just me.
And then I mentioned also CCL. I know that was a big stock that a lot of young investors were buying until, obviously they suspended the dividend. And I actually almost bought CCL. I was, let me do, quick research on it. And when I saw that they cut their dividend in the last recession, I believe it was 2008, I was like, that's a no for me. That's a red flag. Because for me, like we talked about before a couple of weeks ago, even if people call it boring or not, I need to make sure that I have a stock that can sustain their dividend, that can sustain paying their shareholders that dividend for, well over 10, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, so on and so forth. And also, we got the good news on J&J. They just raised their dividend by 6.3%. So them and Costco too. I also have Costco. They raised their dividend by 7%. So those good quality companies that I feel like a lot of investors should look at.
Absolutely. Now, Costco, I put right there at the top of the list. I'm struggling a little bit with valuation on Costco, but their business model is so good. And I'm struggling a little bit with valuation on Walmart as well. As good a quality as those are, I think an alternative play to either one of those two, which are really good businesses. I do own Walmart, but Costco is always right there in the top 5 on my buy list. It's just I'm demonstrating a little discipline right here. I'd lie to you if I told you I was tempted at all at 313 to enter the name. It probably settled at 320 today with the market action at the end of the day. It was just it was a real melt up at the end of the day. The market action today did not indicate that was going to happen today, but who's complaining? It was a good day. But the alternative play is Target for sure. Nice dividend play. It did dip down. If you were lucky enough to get it at around 100, good for you, because it didn't stay there very long. But it's really fun. It's a lot of fun to look at these good quality companies. I think a TJ Maxx as well is worth looking at. And I like Ross Stores. Ross Stores really, really got whacked into March. It was down in the 60s, I believe. The TJ Maxx hit 40 as well. So just, some interesting names as well that fall into that discretionary category. I like as well. Everything looks good, Junior. So I'm trying to be as disciplined as I can. It's tough.
I was gonna say with TJX companies, I actually have that in my traditional. I actually bought some last week. Actually, I had a couple dividends come in. Bought some TJ Maxx, Ross. They're both great companies. When everybody starts, when everything gets back to normal, hopefully, in a couple months when everyone starts shopping, they're going to be back in order. But valuations are high. Amazon's like their PE is like 90 or, and you have Netflix is also high. You mentioned Walmart too. So
I swung trade Amazon this week successfully, I might add. The problem that I have with Amazon is I break every rule that I have to invest in Amazon. It's the one company that I can't put a fair value on. And that's the problem that I have. And so my solution was to do my growth portfolio through M1 Finance and just take a $5,000 bill and put it on the 12 companies that I felt were kind of outliers a little bit. I love Netflix. I just got it this week. It's cool. I'm hooked on Ozark. Oh my God.
Oh, yes.
What the freak? I didn't think I could be so hooked on a dang TV show, but I like Jason Bateman a lot, dude. Actually, that guy, he's legit. And but anyway, back to investing. The Netflix was another one of those companies that was hard to put into the Roth IRA. Because the Roth, man, you have to be careful with. The Roth IRA is like sacred money. It's money that you got to be real careful with, because those are contributed dollars that if you render a loss in, you can't get that contribution back. You see what I mean? Now, the flip side of that is if you make trading profit within it, that's a good step in the right direction. It's tax-free, and that's good. But I just don't want to get, in my opinion, risky in that case. So I control my risk by putting it into a portfolio like that and let the partial shares just pick up a little bit of exposure, not to overexpose. But look at Alibaba, man. Jesus, on a freaking tear. JD.com. I said when that thing was at 20, it was a doubler. I knew it. And, JD.com, I think, is a better company than Alibaba, because everybody thinks opposite on what those bring to the table. But the problem with me is I've been burned by owning Chinese equities. And it's something that there's so much other good stuff out there that I typically just shy away, and I watch Alibaba go up every single day. But I do own that in the growth portfolio. But yeah, Uber, Nvidia, some of those Booking Holdings got clobbered. They've got a phenomenal balance sheet. So
I was gonna say, with the Chinese stock, you didn't buy any Luckin Coffee, right? Any luck? I saw what happened to them a couple weeks ago. The CFO fabricated sales.
Yeah. It's crazy. And well, you compare that to the best of breed, which is Starbucks. There's no big secret there. Starbucks was the shooting fish in a barrel buy when it dipped into the 50s.
That was at 50.
That's easy. That's just easy money. China's back open. And I know the argument could be made with regard to the space that it's in. Obviously, they're a hospitality type of restaurant type of approach, right? And so when are we going to break back into that, just going in and expecting that 3 people are going to touch your coffee cup before you do? I don't buy that when I come around to that. And I'm a little bit more optimistic with regard to some of the naysayers and, we're never going to get back to the way it was before. There's a new normal. I have my own unique opinion about that. I really do. I think maybe next year it might be a little premature to say, oh yeah, we're into a new normal and that's the way it's going to be. But 5 years down the line, we may look at this the way we've looked at a lot of these intense injects that have happened over our lives already. And it just was that, a moment in time.
Yeah. And Starbucks, my girlfriend loves Starbucks, and obviously that's a stock that you have nothing to worry about. Even when it was when the stock went down heavy, when she got at 50, it's right up there with McDonald's as 1 and 2 as far as the top fast food restaurants in the United States. If you look at when it's normal, even when it's not normal, I drive by and I see, drive-throughs of Starbucks still packed. People still going to get their coffee, and it has a moat because people will still pay, $5, $6 for the coffee. And generally, I like to pay, $1 at Wawa. I don't know if you have any Wawas where you live at.
Oh yeah, man. I'm in Virginia, man. I'm right below you. We got Wawa here. Wawa's phenomenal.
Wawa's awesome. I don't know if anybody lives in the West Coast, they probably definitely don't have a Wawa, but Wawa's one of the best convenience stores in the East Coast. I recommend that to anybody. Wawa. So.
Hell yeah, man. That's funny.
With Starbucks, it's one of those companies. They have a low payout ratio for the dividend, so they're not gonna burn their money as far as paying more than earnings to their shareholders, so they'll be fine. And just wanted to also talk about what was the other one? A couple weeks ago, he had a young kid that came on the channel. But if he was 19 years old, that was awesome. For him to come on a Friday night to have that type of mentality, I mean, like I told you, Ron, you're reaching out to even a nice young crowd there. So that's awesome for him to come in and just be open and honest. And I really hope that he,
For
makes
him
it.
to feel comfortable doing so,
Yes.
like 19 years old, that's pretty mature to come on. I mean, you can tell I'm all business. Like, I'm not looking to fool around with this opportunity. I'm not. I'm looking to engage. You can tell how intense I am for 2 hours. Like, I'm locked in, baby. And when that happened, it's funny, Junior, like I've got memories throughout the course of the channel, and that's right there at the top. And I believe I said it in that was kind of a great opportunity to show young investors that some of us older, I hate to say that because I just think it's relative. Some of us older crowd really are genuine in looking to really provide some roadmaps that we feel work. Like, I can guarantee Gen X believes that his system works, and it does. It does. I wouldn't watch the channel if I didn't think it did. Like, I'm not looking for entertainment. I'm really not, Junior. Not when I'm looking for stock awareness information, man. A little bit of the, back and forth that we do, and hopefully I can make it a little entertaining and throw a dry humor joke in there because I just have the driest sense of humor ever.
My humor is great. This is awesome.
We do the best we can, but I tell you what, when it gets right down to it, I think I told him, I said, if you truly listened, this is a game changer. This will change your life. And I truly mean that. I have no reservation whatsoever. But the criteria is such that he would have had to have listened. And I believe that he did. I really did, because I'm pretty insightful. If I feel like somebody's just kind of lead me along and just kind of like, hey, this is cool to be on. I didn't get that at all. Seemed pretty squared away. Because I asked a few probing questions like, hey, man, are you going to college? Absolutely. I'm going to college. I was like, you're on your way. Now let's play. I need you to listen for just a second. It was freaking awesome, Junior. Thank you for bringing that up.
Oh, yeah. And the good thing was he was excited to hear about the information. Like you said, he was about it when he came on. He asked you about the questions and he was excited. He was enthused about it. Enthused about knowing what obviously, because you've been investing for a while, things that he can take from you. And when anybody's excited about that they're well on their way. So I hope all was well for him and everybody on the live.
I never had that. I never had anybody take me aside and be like, hey, what do you think about this, this, and this? And I'm pretty good at like not saying, hey, do it this way and not make it make sense. Because if it doesn't resonate with people, then they're not going to do it anyway. So don't even go down that road. Okay. I'll take you. My saying is very simple. I'll meet you 50-50. Like, I'm not going to do 90% of the work and expect that you only just need to maybe just walk 10% toward me. No way. 50-50. I'll show you 50% maximum effort if you're willing to show 50% maximum effort, and then we'll get somewhere. Because if you just have it manufactured for you, it's not going to happen for you anyway. But
it's like that saying: you could take a horse to the lake, but you can't make the horse drink the water from the lake. So it's like you said, you got to be 50-50. You can give somebody all the tools, but if they're not going to apply for themselves, then it's not going to work. So all the best to him, and like I said, everybody that's on the chat tonight, I wish everybody all well in their investments as well. So this is awesome. It's nice. I love talking about this. Like I said, I wish I can come on every week, but I don't want to be that guy that comes on and just takes all the time for anybody else that wants to come on. So
it's interesting that you mentioned that, Junior. I open this live stream up in the same fashion that I do my investing. Like I like the wild card aspect of it. Like, I open it up and I don't know who's going to come on. And that's the way it's going to continue, because I like that dynamic. I really do. If you're truly interested in this topic and you're truly interested, then people will come on. I truly believe that. And people know I'm crazy, man. I'll run this entire live stream for 2 hours and just talk about my favorite subject. I just think it's really, really cool to hear different perspectives from different investors out there who are building wealth for themselves, who come on and they reiterate things that you just said, like, hey, this market might be a little bit interesting. into March might have been the time to put 80% of your money in. Now it's not that time. I'm about 50-50. If you're a new investor, yeah, I can justify taking some shots here at good quality. But if you've been invested, or worse, you pulled out to try to avoid this catastrophic downturn, and you're putting your money to work here, you crazier than I am.
No, it makes no sense pulling the money. I was, like I said, I was down, I think 30-40% during that time. And now my portfolio, I'm actually down only 7%. And I've been just holding. Yeah. I've been buying little stocks here and there, but I've been working on my diet. I've been bulking up my savings. The stimulus check, me and my girlfriend, we just put into a CIT bank. So we're just building up our savings, paying off little credit cards here and there. So that's the bulk of the money that I'm using. And then anything else I have is for investing. So
that's awesome, man.
Yeah, don't want to be over leveraged to the market. And obviously working out, running, watching different podcasts. I highly suggest Joe Rogan podcast and Mike Tyson's Hot Boxing. I love Mike Tyson's Hot Boxing podcast. Oh, yeah. He has a lot of great people that come on the show. So,
and dude, Mike Tyson's awesome. He was one of my favorites. My favorite athletes growing up. Like, yeah. I remember catching the Mike Tyson's fights and just being like,
it's like 1 minute, right? The fight's over. It's crazy.
But now, like, having it all, and then seemingly by, an outsider's perspective, somebody who doesn't have anything anymore, which isn't the truth. But I mean, you like arguably one of the greatest fighters of all time. Right. And then to go through what he went through, it's amazing to hear his perspective now. He's got a pretty amazing head on his shoulders.
Oh yeah,
pretty crazy.
Yeah. I was telling my girlfriend, any story that was about Mike Tyson, like documentaries, I would always watch it. And he's amazing. So that's a podcast I suggest anybody to listen to. And another thing too for everybody, if they're down as far as the situation, just. Like you said, turn off the news, watch maybe a show, go running, go walking, just get your mind off all the negative. I understand that, it's going to be more coming in, but at the same time, we can only control what's in with us and the present right now. So
for real,
so, I mean, right now it's just, it's awesome to come on. Like I said, thank you for having me on. And,
you're welcome anytime, Junior, man. It's awesome to have you on. You're just a great dude, first and foremost. Investing is a byproduct, right? It's just one of those cool things. I don't know if this was as commonplace 20 years ago or maybe even 10 years ago to come on and talk so openly about investing and finance. But I think there's a little bit more to this group. I think a lot of people can get a lot of benefit from coming on here and seeking out that support piece, that awareness piece. Staying hot on this topic, man. It's that important. The more you pay attention to this, the better off you'll be. It's just a page out of my playbook, which it's pretty darn high on my list. And it's not even about the money. It's about the security for the family. That's it. It's the ability to look back and say, you know what, I'm doing what it is that I'm trying to do. I'm trying to be freaking responsible. And at the end of the day, I'm good with that. But thank you very much, Junior. I really appreciate you taking your time and coming on. That's awesome. You can stick around, man. Catch the rest of the live stream.
I will, man. Thank you, man.
All right, my man. Take it easy. All right. Be well up there and be safe.
All right. You too, Ryan. Thank you.
All right, my man. Later. Very cool. Thank you to Junior. That's awesome. I really enjoy hearing his perspective all the time. If there's anybody else in the group here within the hour, man, who wants to pop on here, I'm going to throw another invite in the stream. I always try to let you guys know when I'm dropping these in here, man, and we can get down and dirty and into business for sure. So there it is. I just dropped it back in the chat. A little bit of business on the channel. And one thing I've learned over the last few years of doing social media here is that you can't please everybody. I've just come to a decision on the Independent Investor channel to do away with one of my affiliate associations, and that is with First Trade Financial. They will no longer be one of those brokers that I endorse through the channel. And a couple reasons why I've come to that decision. I've enjoyed using the First Trade platform. But you guys need to understand a little bit. And I see you, Jaden. I'll get you on here in the chat here just shortly, man. If you don't mind, just hold tight just a second, and I'll get you in here in a couple minutes. Thank you. But when I first started this channel, free investing did not exist. Okay, this was before Robinhood. This was before all that hype. You had to be at certain incentive thresholds in your particular brokerage account to be able to buy and sell a stock for free. It didn't exist. Then Robinhood came out, and I really wasn't that impressed. Okay, and I felt like a lot of people were flocking to that platform for all the wrong reasons. Now, a disciplined investor can make Robinhood a good opportunity. Don't get me wrong, okay? But there was a ton of people who were coming to me and they were like, Ryan, how are you doing what you're doing? Like, how is it that you can trade so much, and how much can you invest and dollar cost average without any type of repercussion and any type of acknowledgement to the expense? And that's because at the time there was no expense, okay? So I was actually presented with the opportunity to go with First Trade Financial at about the same time that I was presented with the opportunity to go with M1 Finance. Okay. M1 Finance was first. You guys know that I tried that broker out and I hated it when I started. Did a review video and got absolutely demolished online. So I said, okay, well, maybe I'm wrong, which in hindsight, I wasn't. I was right. Okay. But I got demolished because it's a crowd favorite and it's growing on me the way that Assist grows on you. And I do still have two M1 Finance platforms. It has its deficiencies and it has its quirks, to say the least, but it's fun. And I guess that means a lot to a lot of investors out there, man, that are looking for a no-cost broker. And at the time, there were no-cost brokers amongst the large brokerage houses, Charles Schwab, TD Ameritrade, Fidelity. We are in a different era now, guys, to where you can look at the top 5 brokers, mine included now with Merrill Edge, which is Merrill now, and you can trade as much as you want. Now, that's something that really needs to be kept in check because it's a very, very powerful ability, and you need to understand tax implication, and you need to understand your opportunity by taking a position and having the opportunity to render profit. With that said, it was a no-brainer for me, and it was a very, very easy decision to go ahead and not continue to pursue the opportunity and recommending the First Trade opportunity because there's just so many other options out there. It is just another fish in the pond, okay? And in my opinion, it's probably better for a new investor to seek their opportunity with one of the major brokers. I am still going to continue on with my relationship with M1 Finance, and that's based primarily on consensus of my subscriber base. I'm happy with it. I don't know why everybody is so over the moon about it because it really does. One trading window a day, guys, is insufficient. Okay. And that's why a lot of people tune into me. It's because I don't BS people. Okay. That's just my honest opinion about it. And there will be half the people that'll come back and say, you know, Ryan, you were wrong on M1. Fine and dandy. I get it. If it gets people to understand the benefits and opportunity within investing, great. We're going to continue to roll that out. I do enjoy the ability to make certain pies within that, and I do like the ability to share those pies across the investing community. So for that reason, it will be my only and singular affiliation on the Independent Investor channel. So hopefully that doesn't rub anybody the wrong way, but that's the decision that I've made. And as you guys can probably tell, I've made it for good reason. Okay. So I've got another guest here who's popped into the studio, man. That's freaking awesome. Jaden has taken his time to jump in here on the live stream on the Independent Investor channel. I'd love to bring Jaden on and get some thoughts, man, and see where he's at in the investing arena and just get another perspective for the group here. That's awesome.
Hey, Ryan, how's it going?
Yeah, I got you fine, Jaden. What's going on, my man?
Not much. Today's my birthday, so just
happy birthday. How old are you, man? 56?
23.
23. Wow.
Yeah.
I don't remember when I was 23. That's probably because I was having too much fun. No, I was commercial fishing in Alaska when I was 23, man, for
That's where
sure.
I want to be. That sounds fun.
It sounds fun. Then you get up there and it's like really hard work, and then you reflect back on it and it's like the greatest thing ever. But happy birthday, man. That's awesome. Thank you so much for coming on, Jaden. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Happy to be here.
Awesome. Well, do yourself a favor and the group here. I think this is the first time you've been on my live stream, man.
It is.
Do me a favor and just kind of introduce yourself and let me know like what brought you maybe to the investing opportunity. Let us know a little bit about your experience and what you're thinking about, making this investing opportunity for you. That'd be awesome.
So it's actually kind of funny. So I have a YouTube channel. It's Investing Made Simple. And I just posted a video last week because I officially made the change from Robinhood over to M1 Finance. And someone commented on one of my videos saying, you should go subscribe to Independent Investor because he does like live streams every Friday. And they're really good. And I was like, okay, I'll check it out. So now I'm here. But yeah,
is the link to your channel in the group? Feel free, man. I'm pretty open with that stuff. And this is good on you because listen, like if I don't know how many subscribers you have. I don't want to offend you if you've got like 500,000 subscribers. But if you're just starting out, it's a good way to get introduced to a really good, solid community here.
Yeah, I just dropped the link down there, so it should be in the comment section now.
Thank you, man. I'll kick over myself and subscribe at the end of this. I always review the thread after it's done, just because there's so much discussion that I miss because I'm so engaged with my guests. But congrats. What was your reason for starting a YouTube channel, man?
So just like 2 years ago, I kind of got into the whole investing world. And I was pretty new to it, and I just kind of feel like there were so many like channels and opinions out there. So I learned that I was very passionate about finance and investing. And so my whole purpose in making a channel was just to try to make investing like easier and simple to do for people that are kind of new or kind of beginners in the stock market or just investing in general. And pretty much I just like to talk about investing in finance because it's what I am passionate about. So I just pretty much talk about the things I'm learning as I kind of go along this journey and this process. And then I just kind of share any tips that I think might be helpful to any like newer investor traders, or I mean not traders, but like investors or anything like that. So yeah, that's pretty much my motivation behind it. I just realized I like talking about it. My wife probably gets boring of me talking about it to her, so I just talk about it on my YouTube channel.
I don't know if my wife would have been as excited 15 years ago, but now when she looks at the accounts, she's kind of like, okay, well, I can't really argue with the fact that investing works.
Yeah. Maybe that's how my wife will be in like 15, 20 years too. She's like, oh, that is cool.
See, and if she's the same age as you or your spouse, I apologize, but if your spouse is the same age as you, you guys will be in your mid 30s. And like, I talk all the time on the channel about how I was always into investing, like straight up, man. When I was 23, when I was your age, I was into investing. But like I just talked to Junior about, I didn't really have somebody to kind of show me the way. And investing, if you truly have the ability at 23 to make investing simple, my hat goes off to you, because you got to imagine somebody who's brand new to investing standing in a desert, not knowing which direction to go. And having it's a lot of, I don't want to say responsibility, because I think nowadays there's really not very much excuse because the information is so readily available, but there's very few that offer information that isn't aimed at driving you into some sort of thing.
No, yeah, I definitely agree. And that's what I really hated about when I first got started learning about investing in finance is like, I think it's scary because there's so many like YouTubers and people out there that really want to like get the new investors' attention. Like you see ads for it all the time. But I feel like a lot of like people just want the beginner investors like try day trading and trading options and trading crypto and like all these really risky investments. And so what I think kind of sucks, I think a lot of newer investors get really hurt in the stock market because of those people that are trying to teach them to do those really risky things. And so instead of making money by like simply just investing their money in good companies, they lose lots of money because they're trying to like day trade and make money really quick. And usually it just doesn't work out in their favor. And so
you start in a hole, Jaden.
Yeah, exactly. And like, it just sucks to like get into this whole world of investing and just start losing money trying to do stuff like that.
You start in a hole.
Yeah.
And like at 23 years old, man, you don't need to do that. Like the ace up your sleeve is time. You would agree.
Oh
So
yeah.
you spend your time screwing around thinking that the next pipe dream needs to be your pipe dream. The problem with those things that you mentioned is that there are people that make money doing that. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say that they're not. The problem I have is the ability to scale those programs and allow somebody at least a fighting chance at a percentage of success that the originator has put forward and is basically professing that their customers can agree with as well or enjoy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the sad part about it. And value investing, and I've typically I've evolved over the course of the channel to really focus on two styles of investing, and that is passive investing and dividend growth investing. Those really are, in my mind, the greatest aspects. Now, there's a few hybrid versions of that. You can weight your portfolio in different ways to have a little bit more exposure to companies like Salesforce or a Google or an Amazon, right? At 23 years old, if you came to me and said, hey, I'm interested in these, Ryan, what do you think? I'd be like, you're 23, go forth and prosper. That's awesome, right? Those are great companies, but it doesn't really fit in with the passive profile, and it doesn't fit in with the dividend growth profile either. So taking a little bit of the portfolio and allocating that, it makes sense. But my strategy has always been the nature by which you hold those assets is the key, right? The ability to start that retirement account, tax protect that money, and lower the expense. That'll make all the difference. That will far outweigh any level of outsmarting the market you can do by picking the perfect basket of stocks that are going to outperform and provide you alpha over the long term. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I decided to make the switch from Robinhood over to M1 Finances. I feel like so many new investors get started on Robinhood, and day trading and trading options and trading crypto is so easy to do on Robinhood that they kind of fall into that trap just because it's so easy to do. And
is
then
it really?
Lots of money.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I don't have any experience with Robinhood, nor Acorns. I know there's a few folks in here. I see Brent, my good friend with the financial investors in the group. They've got more experience with those platforms. I do not. I'm sorry. I just went over 200 for the first time in the live stream. So I'm fired up, man. That's freaking great. There's a lot of people in the world, man. We need to get to as many as we can.
Yeah.
So sorry to digress, but yeah, I didn't know that it was that easy to get that level of exposure. Bitcoin's all over the place, man.
Yeah, that's what's good about Robinhood is it's so easy to use, but at the same time, it's like a blessing and a curse because it's so easy to use that anyone can use it. It's very beginner friendly, but at the same time, it's really easy to fall into those traps because it is so easy to use. And that's why I like M1 Finance because it's still so easy to use, but at the same time, like you can't really day trade on M1 Finance. You can't trade like all these complex things on M1 Finance.
Yeah.
So I think when new beginners get started on like M1 Finance compared to Robinhood, it's a lot harder for them to fall into those like beginner mistakes. And so they end up making more money and just kind of avoiding kind of those dumb decisions that lots of people fall into.
But you got to say that, okay? A lot of people will get involved with M1 Finance, and the first thing they're going to start doing is trying to trade in and out of those pods.
Yeah.
It is a passive platform, man. You are going to be disappointed if you think you're going to try to get the right exit price on a particular stock. You want to render profits in at 10:30 in the morning. Okay. It's not that type of platform. And my only point by making the statement that I made before I brought you on, Jaden, is that investors should look to take advantage of every opportunity. And every opportunity is provided by those platforms, like those major platforms. If you're a beginning investor, passive investing really should be your thing. That should be your wheelhouse. You shouldn't be looking to do what it is that I do now. And that's trade in and out. You'll lose. You'll lose. Because the reason why it's justified for somebody like myself at my age in the wealth building stage that I'm in is because I already have those passive assets working all the time. Those don't move. This is a small percentage of portfolio that I get in, I get out, I render the profit, I channel the stock, I render the white meat, and I'm good. Okay. But in M1 Finance, that type of activity is not possible. And I think it's worth the discussion for new investors to say, you know what's to keep me from just going with a Fidelity account, or what's to keep me from looking at TD Ameritrade with a different lens? Charles Schwab, they're all consolidating now. I think E-Trade just got bought this week, I believe. But it's worth looking at. If you're 19 years old and you just want to go with a Robinhood because it's easy, that's not good enough for me. You got to dig a little deeper in that, and you'll be better off for it. You'll thank me for it. You'll be like, man, I remember when that guy kind of was like, he was down on my platform, man, and I took it personally. He was down on Robinhood, and I got mad at him, and it's like, dude, calm down. I'm trying to help you, because down the line, you want to start your account and hopefully have the opportunity to be with that account for the rest of your life. That's the key. If it's hard to do. I've started brokerage accounts. I'm in the process of rolling another one over, but I did that for good reason. I did that partially exploratory for my group as well. And it's a good platform. It's good. Carries Roths, lightning fast. The mobile app is good. I've been happy with it, but I can't continue to recommend it based on what I know now. The landscape has changed.
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel. Yeah.
Well, as a young investor, and no offense, dude, you're 23, right? So you're young. I keep to do 23, man. Come on. Investing, you got to be so excited, man.
Oh yeah, I love it.
Oh man, it's all you got to do is just walk that successful path, build diversification, man. Take advantage of every single aspect of investing that's worked historically, because if you paid attention over the last month and a half to the stock market, it can get crazy. Oh, yeah. And now with algorithmic trading and quantitative trading, quant trading and things like that, where machines hit certain levels and they initiate trades so quickly that these moves are really exacerbated from day to day. I think even in times where the volatility is low, when something happens, a geopolitical issue, et cetera, hits the market, and boom, it starts to exacerbate that selling activity. It's going to be something. I had a note to talk about this tonight. It's going to be one of those things to where the new investors are going to have to recalibrate their idea and risk tolerance to what historically has worked in the market. I really believe that. It'll be tough on you guys. And when I say it'll be the toughest, easiest thing you do, I mean that. So, and investing is not one of those things to where it's just a rocket to the moon. Investing is a lot of different, weaving and jucking and jiving, and hopefully your plan is good. But through monitoring your plan, you're going to see it go through some ups and downs, and you're going to have to make some decisions. What do I do? Do I fund now? Do I hold? Do I add to? And that type of thing. If I had it to do over again, I would sell less. I don't think I would ever sell.
Oh yeah.
Just accumulate shares. It's all you're after. Accumulate wealth. Selling has been some of the biggest mistakes I've ever made. Yeah, that's real talk. Real talk. You don't ever really need to sell Apple computer.
People like selling at bad times and whatnot. That's like what I did when I first got started in the stock market, like first started learning about it, is I just YouTube searched like Warren Buffett and watched like every single Warren Buffett interview, every single like Warren Buffett video, whatever I could find had to do with like Warren Buffett or Charlie Munger, I just watched that. And I think that helped me a ton to like understand the market better, because there's so many people out there trying to like teach you different things. And I really like Warren Buffett and like Charlie Munger because they teach everything in such a simple way. And yet they have so much success at doing it in such a simple way like that, So I really like just learning from people like that.
Junior, nod your head if you want to come back on here. You want to come back on here?
Sure,
hey,
yeah.
Jade, stay on with me, okay? Stay on with me, okay, Jaden?
Oh, yeah, of course.
You got me okay?
Yes. Listen, Ryan, I don't want to take the spotlight away from Jaden, but Jaden, that was me that commented on you yesterday.
Yeah. No,
that was me. And I was so excited when I left and I saw you come on. I want to say, yo, dude, thanks for coming on, man. Everybody on the chat right here, please follow him right here, man. He has great content. He's young. It's awesome, man. I'm glad you came on. I literally just talked to you yesterday. I just commented. I was like, yo, you should check out Ryan. And Brian, that's why I just wanted to come on, because it was me. I was the one that commented.
I saw you down there, man. I saw you down there, and you were giving me like smoke signals to come back on. I was like, is he wanting to come back on here or what?
I was like, no, this
That's
can't be
awesome.
happening. He really came on the channel, and
That's
now you
freaking
just
awesome.
came on. You came and did the live stream, so that's awesome, man. So I just want to say congrats, man.
Well, thanks
Welcome,
for
and
referral. I'm glad to be
yeah,
here.
you're welcome, man. I appreciate. Yeah, I just wanted to make that note. So
Good community, man. Awesome. Thanks, Junior.
yeah.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you guys. Take care, Jaden.
Yeah, you too, Junior.
All right.
So the cool thing about that, I think, Jaden, here's the thing, like you're going to be able to relate to other of your peers, you know, folks your own age. And I think, I don't know if you were on early enough to hear Junior talk about that 19-year-old who came on my channel last week.
I hopped on the stream like 5 minutes before I hopped on with you.
Gotcha. Yeah, it was pretty cool. But I can tell you there's opportunity through YouTube analytics to look at the demographic that you you know, that you're getting, that you're capturing the audience, etc. But
Yeah.
you're going to have the ability to get through to those folks, man. You got to talk to them. Certainly I'm there to help, but I think sometimes, you know, the new generation, not you specifically, I think the new generation lacks patience. I do.
I agree.
You guys want the answer in like 2.5 minutes, and investing, I don't know, man. I don't know. Could you imagine Gen X dividend investor doing a 2.5 minute video? You know, it's a tough topic. It's a topic that renders itself to an investor taking their entire lifetime to evolve with it and make it part of their life, to fine tune it to where it's not consuming, to where it's not a day trader's activity, staring at 6 screens, geeking out on candlestick charts to know when to enter a company that's not worth anything.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's a meaningless way to spend your time. I would rather, you know, it's just not something I'm interested in. And the day traders would disagree with me. They would say, oh, absolutely not. We're contributing to society in all the ways that are, you know, we're just right up there with the doctors contributing to society. I beg to differ. But you know, it's really, really important, man. And you'll have the ability, you'll get some exposure to these folks will all kick over and subscribe to your message too. Cool. Just make sure you keep perspective. I'll tell you the same thing that was told to me when I started the Independent Investor channel some many moons ago. This is a business opportunity that you don't need a lot of overhead to start, if any. Sure, you'll invest in a few things, lighting, camera, computer, etc., those things. But you have unlimited upside potential and no downside risk. What I mean by that is unless you come on and act like a fool, subscribers want to, and I'm one of these as well. I gravitate toward good information. Now, my filter is a little different than most. I have a pretty high standard for what it is that I will consume as far as my content goes. But what a great opportunity to leverage the YouTube opportunity, the social media opportunity. Check out my friend Ryan Scribner. He's got 600,000 subscribers.
I'm subscribed to him.
Sure. So, you know, what I said at the top of the live stream, I meant if you're a new channel creator and you get like 25 people to watch your first few videos, that's 25 people that if you put them into a room, would you feel comfortable standing up in front of that room and talking about the same topic for 5 or 10 minutes? You know, what's the difference really? And not only that, but those people that are coming in to tune into you, they've probably entered into that arena of discussion because they're interested in personal finance.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
I think that's a really good perspective to have. And I really liked what you said about like not to like diss on my generation, but we kind of like lack patience in a way.
I was trying to do it in the nicest of way, but
yeah, and I totally agree. I think we're just kind of used to like instant gratification because now we have the internet, social media, like all these things. And I think that kind of is what drives people to try the riskier investments, you know, because they see like other people, maybe their age, like that have become successful, like day trading or stuff like that, like a very small percentage of people have. And so they want to try it because they also want to try to get rich quickly so they can maybe like show off on their social media and stuff like that. So I think like a lack of patience really can get you in so much more trouble than people realize. And I totally agree that's something that maybe needs to be talked about more. So yeah, I really like what you said about that.
Do it. It sounds like you've got a great head on your shoulders, man. I don't know if you've got a career going, or if you're going to college, or what your deal is.
I'm working on a bachelor's in personal financial planning. So
fantastic.
Yeah.
Hey, that's fabulous, man. I guess if I had it to do over again, I would get into accounting, something along those lines with regard to working with that. But my story was a little more edgy than that. There's no doubt about it. I'm thankful to be here, and I'm thankful to be doing what it is that I'm doing. And life is good. It's so good. This is the quickest 2 hours for me to come on and run a live stream. And my family sometimes is like, Jesus, man, you got to be kidding me. 2 hours? I'm like, no, you don't understand. It's the fastest 2 hours I have because I'm engaged for every second, and I'm watching at it, and it's just clicking down, and it's tough for me because it's such a cool topic. You know, I couldn't have forecast that you were going to come on, Jaden, and those little things, they mean a lot to me. They really do. And I guess that's why a lot of people tune into me, is because I'm pretty real.
My videos, I can actually be here.
Yeah, definitely. How many videos you got uploaded there, Jaden?
I got about 54 videos right now.
Nice. That's awesome.
2 videos a week. So
good. That's a good schedule. Don't burn yourself out. What I talked about with the ebbs and flows, I'm being real with you. You know, 20,000 subscribers. I've been doing YouTube 3.5 years. I'm a relatively small channel, very small for the amount of work that I've put in. Nobody would have persevered through what I've went through with 400 videos and not really getting as high as maybe I thought was possible at this point.
No, yeah, I wasn't getting any traction until like my 40th video.
Yeah,
to get anywhere.
Well, build the channel long term. Build it to be there for yourself, like down the line, because I foresee myself retiring and doing this from a home studio. I'll be there. I mean, I know it. I don't think that's going to happen. I know it's going to happen.
Cool.
And not only that, but the relationships, the connections, like this group. You're invited back, man. You got an open brow. It means an open door policy on the Independent Investor channel, man. Make sure and come on more and engage with this community. There's about 12 to 15 channel creators in this group right now. So yeah,
I'm subscribed to a lot of them. And it's awesome that this many people are here supporting you on a Friday night. So that's really cool.
Yeah, I'm speechless on that. It's pretty awesome. I really do feel that intimately about how important it is to be aware on this topic. I don't think it should consume your life. I believe there's so many more other things important in life. Mine is in the other room right now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But for 2 hours, it's a discipline to come on and just talk stock, man, because it's freaking interesting. Holy moly. This week has doled out all kinds of content. It's an unlimited topic. Like if you ever think that you have problems coming up with topics of videos, give me a shout. All right. I never have a problem. I never have a problem with my creative content. I don't. And I just made my latest video right before I came live. Actually, it'll release either tomorrow or Sunday, but yeah, just it's cool because it keeps your creative side open too. And you think of an idea and it's like, yeah, man, I'd like to deliver this to my group because it's important. Always keep the focus on your group and you'll be fine. You know, awesome. If you become a millionaire, I'll be the first to tip my hat to you. That's awesome because it's very possible. It's crazy times now with the social media opportunity, but you know, always stay true to who you're aiming the message at and how it's going to be received. That's the big thing. Yeah.
I'll do that. Thank you so much, Ryan.
You're welcome, man. You're welcome anytime, Jaden.
Oh yeah. I'll definitely be back here every week.
Guys. Absolutely. You're welcome. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah. We'll see you.
Be well, man. What's going on, my man? Did you want to pop back on here? You in the studio?
Oh man.
You're chilling now, drinking wine. I apologize, Junior. I'll take you back off. You're in the studio.
No one tonight, but I'm glad Jaden came on. Yeah, I literally just commented him yesterday. He put a video out from leaving Robinhood to M1 Finance, and I've been watching his channel for a couple of weeks. So I was like, you know, he's young, he's got good content in his videos. I was like, you know, he should definitely check you out. And when he came on, I was like, oh snap, he really came on. So you
Do you collect a referral fee, Junior? How on that? That's the only thing that means more to me than anything, man. When somebody recommends and brings somebody on like that, and it's awesome. I return the favor. Everybody knows in this group what I'll do as well. It's a two-way road, and God, for somebody who's 23 like that, starting a channel, that's legit. That's really cool, man. I'm glad to help. That's what the YouTube opportunity is about, man. Bringing people together, as far as I'm concerned.
And he said two great things. He said he reads books from Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger. You're set. Once you study these guys, you're well on your way. Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger, two of the most successful investors of all time. You know,
deploy the Socratic method. I know nothing. Now, where can I learn something? That's the secret. You know, so many new investors. He alluded to it. It's like so many new investors think that they can just get involved. And it's like, boom, I got this thing figured out. This is great. You know, I'm going to buy this $600 course. I got it all planned out. It's going to work out for me. And it doesn't ever work out that way, you know?
And it's great. Like he said about his generation, I hate being that older guy that downplays the generation, because it happened to me when I was young. The older people would always say, you know, negative stuff. But I think the negative thing is they want things like this. They want this money to reach 50% within tomorrow or the end of the week. And you don't have. I hesitate
to say that, Junior, because the last thing I don't want to turn off the new generation, man.
Yeah, me neither. No,
I like my grandfather looked at our generation as a bunch of sissies too, you know, and he was right. You know, I mean, he was a naval diver, my grandfather, a naval salvage diver. Was he tougher than our generation? Yeah, he was. And you know, a little bit of acknowledgement to where the older generation has come from. Like, you don't have to agree with everything, but at least take the time to hear somebody out. I'd take the time to hear somebody out that's 19 years old or 78 years old. It makes no difference to me. I just think life is awesome in that way. You know, it'll just make you better. Be a sponge, man. Be a sponge. You'll be better off for it.
I love that saying, sponge, because you absorb everything and then you rinse out all the stuff that's unnecessary. So
that's the hardest thing about this situation now, man, is that everybody's kind of stuck inside a little bit, and we're social creatures by nature. But let's be real. On the other side of the coin, Junior, right? Would I have had a chance to talk and engage with somebody like yourself or anybody else in this community if it wasn't for the YouTube opportunity? You know, let's be real.
It's all, and it's crazy because, you know, I've watched YouTube for years and I never thought that they would have anybody do any live streams. And like I said, when I watched Ryan Scribner and I saw you, and then I saw your channel, and then it's a domino effect. It just goes. And now with Jaden coming in, it's going to be a domino effect. I hope everybody on the group chat follows his channel. It's a lot of good content. Really good.
Yeah, they will. Yeah, mark my word, they will. I think they're waiting for you to start a channel, Junior.
One of these days, man. I'm just busy, man. You know.
I know you are. Yeah. At least you're working. I mean, you're lucky. A lot to be thankful for too. You know.
Oh, and shout out to Joe Trick. He's the one from New York too, right?
Yeah, man. He's here. Yep. He's in the group.
I actually went to West Babylon today, so I passed by Oyster Bay. So
nice, man. Very cool.
So shout out to Joe Trick.
He says 100,000. I don't know who he's talking about. I don't know if he's talking about me, 100,000. I don't know. We might be there. We're on track to be there in like 12, 15 years or so. I don't know.
No, you'll get that well before that. I know it.
We'll see. As long as look, man, we're doing it right. There's everybody in this community I love engaging with, and I love doing it when I love doing it. When I don't love doing it, I don't do it. It's very simple. Yeah. People know where I'm coming from this. I don't want to burn out on this thing. I'd like to be doing this for a long time. No.
Yeah, it's got to be something you enjoy, and that's the good part. You enjoy it, and it's quality. You know, it's not the gimmicks, it's not the shazazz, and like, you know.
Nah, but I mean, some real talk, and I don't, you know, J-Mac's been around for a year, and some of these other content creators, Matt Money's been around for a while. Gen X dividend investors got under a year. They'll see what I'm talking about, where you feel almost like you have to commit and do content, and that's an unfortunate feeling. At least for me personally, I don't like to feel that way. I like to feel like when I've got a good idea and I want to come on and share it, It's natural. It's not manufactured. And that's the way I'm going to continue to roll on, at least on my message. It's better that way. It's more pure. And I don't like it when it's forced, you know?
And I bet you I do. I use this live stream the same way. If I miss it, on a Friday night, I'll listen to it like a podcast on a Saturday or Sunday. If I'm doing chores, if I'm cooking, I'll just put this on for 2 hours and I'm good to go. I kid you not. I listen to it like a podcast, and I think that's why a lot of people like to listen to it, even if they don't catch it on the live Friday night. I'm sure they'll listen to it the next day as a podcast.
So a lot of people from around the world, actually, from other countries that are in different time zones. Like I've got some subscribers from New Zealand. I've got a few from UK that go to their favorite cafe and they sit there and they watch, So those types of things, I cannot relate with that level of reach yet. Like I'm here in my own little bubble here in Virginia, and I put out content and I engage with this awesome community that makes their way in here, but it's really hard to acknowledge how big the reach is through YouTube. It's freaking powerful. It's amazing.
And 20,000, that's blessed. You have 20,000 people that want to hear your message, and you have 20,000 people that, like, you're seeing it right now, like everyone's talking with each other, catching up. Some people are suggesting certain stocks. That's a huge plus right there. That's something where a first time subscriber can come on and see this and be like, this is awesome. I didn't know about this stock. I didn't know about this. And it's nice. You bring people together. That's another thing too. So
this rule of 72 video that he's talking about here, dude, I was so nervous for that. It's just so funny, man. Cause I looked at Ryan Scribner like a freaking superstar. And at the time he had like 6,000 subscribers, and, I remember that. I asked him, I was like, hey man, would you mind if I like made a piece of content for you? And he was like, absolutely. No problem. Nice. Yeah. Just file share it to me. And I was like, what? Hey, can you tell me how to do that? Yeah, sure, man. No problem. But yeah.
I think that was one of the first times I started looking at J&J, because when I watched that video, it's before I started my portfolio. So I looked at, stocks and, good quality stocks. Dude, and then
that dividend video that I did that you're alluding to, that was a good video, man. That was not in his style to do a 30-minute video like that. And he even said before it, he's like, how you want to roll? And I was like, I want to roll the way I roll. I'd like to sit and talk stock. And J&J, Microsoft was in that group. Yeah, Walmart was in that group. Procter. Yeah, man. Yeah, for real. That was fun. But I didn't mean to throw you back in the live stream, but I'm glad I did.
No, it's all good. I just wanted to just to say that earlier with Jaden and all the other stuff I was mentioning before about quality. And then we didn't talk about, I guess, the news with what the stimulus. Like, now I heard there's another one that could potentially come out. I don't think it will. With accordingly potentially $2,000 a month. I've seen some channels talk about it where people can get $2,000 a month, $500 for a child, but it hasn't been passed with the Senate or Congress. And I'm like, wow, this doesn't sound like a lot more money trying to come out. That's crazy. I mean, it could help a lot of people that are not working. But it's
Did you get yours?
Yes, I did. Yeah,
I did too.
I got mine. Was it Wednesday when majority of people got
Me too. Yeah. Okay. The same.
Yeah. And then apparently people were talking. I don't think it's going to happen, but they're saying that even the feds might be buying up some stocks to build up that market, and I don't think that's a good idea at all. But I highly doubt that. I think that's just suggestions or talks.
Me personally, Junior, it went into the savings account, and that's where it is to this day. Mark my word, every penny. That's where it is for me.
That's what I did.
I don't typically mix those two things. I put over a block of cash to invest the way I've invested now. I've already declared those wins, and we're sitting at about 50,000 in that. Because that's what I wanted to do. I had a strategic goal 3 years ago. I said, when the market dips, I will be putting that brokerage to work and starting a third taxable brokerage account. And this liquidation of the first trade account, that's the start of the initiative for me to bring that capital back to this account. eventually I won't have M1 Finance. I will eventually close those down. At a time where they're not beneficial to me, because I really do like investing with them. For the two accounts I have with them, they both play a pretty interesting strategic goal for me. The growth account and the spider ETFs. I like them both. It's really cool. I'm up 13% in my spider portfolio right now. So it's doing its job. So I'm going to let it continue to do its job until I figure that it's not a time, and I'll bring it home eventually. But yeah, we put a little cash to work. I mean, come on, that's just what I wanted to do. That was one of my goals, to draw down some of my cash and put it to work in this market. And that's what I've done for the long term.
Yeah. And then a couple of weeks ago when I got Disney at 82, I was happy because, of course, I know Disney's going to take a while. I
didn't even think it went that low.
God dang, man. I got it right at 82.
Good man. Holy jeez.
Picked up a few and then just stopped and let us do his thing. And now it's, I think, at 106 now. I think they just hit 50 million subscribers now for Disney Plus. So, of course, everyone's at home. So that's a huge plus. So, yeah, that's a good quality company. Just let it sit there, own it for years, and pass it down to your kids. Yeah.
Look at Matt Money. See, I know Matt Money is, so I'm going to call him out. See, that's the thing. He backed himself into a corner now. You see what
How many
I'm
likes do we have? Come on.
Come on, man. I don't see the likes on here because I'm in the StreamYard. I could click over to YouTube and check it, but I don't know. I think 200 visitors is enough, man. And not only that, but Matt hasn't been on the live stream for a long time. I had a thought that Matt was going to kick on with me tonight, man, but he picks his spots for sure, and that's cool. Like what you were saying, Junior. I like to run this round robin. I don't like running on a schedule. That's silly. There's no need for that. I like it. You guys come on. Hell, you've been on 3 times tonight. I like it. It's fit well. Yeah. I'm pretty good at, fitting it in, and, if there's other people waiting, etc., whatever, we give them a shot. Because Jaden, I mean, look at that. That takes courage, man, to come on to a little bit bigger channel. He just started out and he wants a little notoriety. I'm waiting for Matt Money to pop in here. He's probably scrambling with his lights and his microphone. He's probably like, God dang, Ryan's calling me to the carpet here. What's going on, man? I gotta hear about all. Yeah. I wanted his thoughts, man, on the market. We were just kind of BSing on his last live stream, and heck, he had been going for 2 hours, and I popped in at like hour 2.5, and he was on there with Dave, just shooting it like crazy. Awesome discussion, man. Real estate and stock investing and retiring, and it's really cool, man. It's nice to hang out with people who are like-minded, who don't mind talking about those dreams. Because eventually those dreams are going to become reality, I think. Otherwise, what are we doing? What are we working toward?
And he's big on realty, right? Realty income. I think
he is. Yeah. He is. I've got 100 shares here. I just about bought another position. The only thing keeping me from buying today is that it was such an up day, and I'm going to continue. I actually did some selling today. To be honest with you, I had a double position in J&J, I had a double position in Amazon. That was my third position this week. I channeled that.
Yesterday,
Apple computers took the downgrade, so I sold it first thing this morning, locked in those profits. Then it was off 10 bits. I almost bought it back this afternoon, but I waited. Medtronic went ahead and took that 1 day profit out of Medtronic. That was huge.
Yeah, I feel like Amazon next week when they report earnings are going to hit another record high because they've been, busy throughout this whole downturn right now.
You might be right.
I believe so. Yeah, I'll be shocked if they don't.
Yeah, investing in Amazon is really, really tough. You almost need to just buy it and hold it forever. It's just right now, with as much exposure as I have with this market in its current condition, I'm erring on the side of defense right now. So if I can render profits, then I do it. And I live to fight another day. I'm fine. I'll continue to monitor here, because there's so many good deals out there. And I'm actually, Raytheon is a good one here. If you're going to pick it up in 60s, now's the time to do it. Less than 10 times forward earnings here at this price entry at a 4.7% dividend yield.
Yeah.
I think they trimmed some fat from that that basically split up and merger at the same time is what they did. And Otis and Carrier, I'm just holding them. But that's kind of the fat that was trimmed away, to be honest with you. I'm more excited about Raytheon, because that's a company I've invested in before.
Is that an oil company or energy company?
No, it's a defense company. So defense systems, radar systems, all the high-tech stuff, all of the electronic equipment, all that stuff, big defense contracts up there with like Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman. You're talking about all your big naval contracts, things like that. Raytheon is in the discussion for sure. Mm-hmm.
Nice.
And I guess there's a lot of synergies, I guess, of bringing those two companies too, with UTX on the aerospace side, with the commercial aircraft, and then Raytheon as well. So some pretty good information surrounding that. I'm excited about it. I actually took another 50 share block in it just this week. That was one of my purchases. And one of those quality positions that actually stayed. It's a good one.
I only have I have Boeing, but Boeing's going to be a while till it gets back. I got it at the 330, so I'm just going to hold it until it either I break even or get some profits before I sell it down to in the future.
Look at Gen X. Gen X is talking to Matt Money right now. Make it happen.
Yeah,
he's goating him.
He told him that if he gets over 200, that over 250 likes, that Gen X should come on the channel. Live on the live stream.
I don't know I know Matt Money, right? So now I'm up to 231. I'm just going to keep talking this thing up. Maybe I can talk myself up to 1,000. I'm just kidding. But anyway, we're at 1:30 anyway. So I may try to keep it around 2 hours. I always try to do that for the folks that replay it. They can become a little bit long-winded. I just think there's no way I could do this for an hour. It's too short.
Well, I don't know. Last week you had a couple of people on. You had was it Ryan? Ryan on, and then you had somebody else on too.
Kyle was on last week. It was awesome. He was the first guest that came on, and I always enjoy Kyle. Man, he's just awesome to listen to. I like that successful mindset. And I mean that in the nicest of way. That's a compliment. And all of these folks, Rebecca's here, I've got her on the screen, Gen X, Stemiden, Matt, and Jason, and yourself. All these folks that are coming in here, they're all of a successful mindset in some way or the other, coming from a lot of different, job backgrounds, professions, that type of thing, but all looking to get ahead. And I like that. I really do. I think that should be part of the conversation. Look, I think Matt just upped the game. If we get 250 likes, Gen X will join the stream. He just told me. That's what you're. Man, that would surprise me. I think I'd just about fall out of my freaking chair if I saw Gen X dividend investor pop in. I'd be like, dude, because I think he shows like subtle hints. Because he's a funny guy, man. He likes to riddle in his videos, and he's probably declared like who he is in one of those like people waving at the beginning of the video. Like, hey, I believe one of those is him. If indeed he's a him, but he's just funny like that. He's got a comical side to life, I can tell. And I like that. That's good. That's a good thing. So I don't know if we're going to meet 250 tonight, Junior, but God dang, if we could get Gen X dividend investor on the live. See, the only wrong part about that is only the diehards are in here now. We got to get Gen X in here at minute like 10. In the first 10 minutes.
See, if he comes on, it's like one of the wrestlers unrelieving their mask, like a Kane or like Rey Mysterio Jr. back in the day when they reveal their mask, and you're like, I'm a wrestling fan, so that's anybody that watch wrestling, when they
man,
those were big when those wrestlers used to take their mask off.
Yeah, man, you remember Sting?
Sting, yes, WCW, and
Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Andre the Giant.
Yes.
Oh yeah, bro. Hell yeah, man. That's what I'm talking about.
My favorite is Stone Cold Steve Austin. He was my favorite. Right? He carried drink beers, give you the finger, because it was different. Because everybody had their character, and sometimes it would be cheesy and your kid. But when I watched him, I was I think about to be in middle school, and I thought he was dope. I was like, this is what I'm talking about. Badass that comes and it's crazy.
This is the first time I've ever got a super sticker. So I think JMac
Oh.
Investing, I'd promote JMac Investing. Jason's just a cool dude, man. He's just a cool dude.
Yeah.
In all fairness, and sometimes, I mean, I like to joke, but you know, when it's time for real talk, I like Jason, man. I think the world of
Yeah.
Jason. He's pretty cool. I met him first time last fall, I guess, last summer, something like that, and yeah, he went right into my preferred channels list. And it's funny, man, my criteria to make that is different than what a lot of people would think. You know, it all has to do with personality.
Yeah.
But I don't know what I'm going to do with all that card hold cash, man. I don't know what to do, Jason. You got any recommendations? Does that mean I get like $2? You know, the problem with people tipping in these live streams is that YouTube takes a lot of it. That's the problem.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's too bad, man.
Well, why don't you just start a Discord channel and just give half off? Like some channels do give half off percent.
Yeah. Join my stock radar group.
Oh man, I was watching.
I give it away for free. How am I going to do? Look, once you start on a road of like loyalty, you know, I tried that once with Betterment for all the right reasons. Legit. Like I had people that were really interested in Betterment. And on the surface, it seemed good for somebody else, but not my channel, not with the niche of like reducing or eliminating expense, which I know I'm right. And it was a stretch to try to put that to an audience at the time that was very loyal. And it's even more loyal now, which is why I think the first trade decision will be looked upon favorably. I do. I think people will look at me and be like, okay, I can understand why he did that, you know? And sure enough, man, I mailed away the transfer forms today. It'll be a like in kind transfer over to Merrill. And people will understand. There will be people that are like, man, I really like it. Like I signed up because of him. Well, that's fine. It's still going to provide you that conduit, but you can understand why it just things have changed. And I can't with any good conscience continue to recommend it when I know that there's better options out there, you know? So.
Yeah, you're making a personal choice that's good for you, you know. Just because you're doing it doesn't mean that somebody else should be discouraged. And I feel like that's with investing too. Like just because someone suggested a certain stock doesn't mean that you have to rush and get it. Do the research, right? It's like seeing a nice car, but if you open up the hood of the engine and it's not, there's barely anything in there, it's not going to work. Like
Junior, you might need to tell Junior, you might need to tell a joke or something to get this thing up to 250 likes or something. I don't know, man.
Oh, I'm not good at jokes.
Neither am I. I'm not very freaking funny. That's the problem. I don't know how we're going to draw 250 people. Man, I put this, listen, dude, when I come out with this live stream and put it out there to the world, I don't know who's going to come in here. I could come into one of these Friday live streams and there could be 10,000 people waiting. I don't know. There could be 10,000 people who don't like me. I don't know. I'm just waiting for maybe some of these very few channel creators maybe that don't like me to get a herd of people to come into the live stream and say hello. That'd be awesome. That'd be great.
They like something, even if they don't like you. If they're gonna sit there and watch a video, they like something. Nobody just sits there.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe you're right. Yeah, for sure. Yep, for sure.
Yeah, and even if they don't like you, they can tell the people, and then they can come on. You'll get more subscribers. What are you talking about? This guy's all right. Boom.
Exactly. Need to get these super chats going in our circles to support these awesome creators. Yeah, it's a cool. I'm being real on that monetization thing, and I'm probably not even allowed to shoot myself in the foot that way. But I don't appreciate how YouTube does that. There was a few folks in the history of the live streams. When I first started, I don't really get tipped a lot now, and I won't do Patreon. I think that's garbage. I'd rather it's not about the money for me. And I don't make any money off the live streams anyway, to be honest. I could come out with 10-minute videos every day and make a lot more money on YouTube. Make no mistake. Like if I was money driven, which I am, but I want to do it right. And if I were just to drive content down and do away with the live stream, I think the live stream is the heart of the channel, to be honest with you. Why would I?
Yeah, you and JMac, I think, are the only two I know that do it, a live stream, from what I know so far.
Matt Money runs it, and Kyle has done a few, and Dave is a guest on a lot of those. He's been a guest on mine and Matt as well.
Okay.
But Matt runs really, really long. Like I popped into that one and it was like 2 hours and 45 minutes. So I think he's like me. He likes talking about the topic. And that I respect. And I like Matt too a lot. Matt's good people, real sincere dude for sure.
Yeah.
Again, another character I would have never had a chance to meet,
Yeah, I'm glad you don't do a Patreon charge. I'm shocked that people still pay for that. Like, the one particular channel I watch, people don't know. They feel like this is the only way. And then when they see him, put the seasonal
You're right.
offer, like, hey, come on, we got a half off. And like, all right, let me go. Boom, boom, boom. Let me go and put all my money away and not do any research or read books and save my money. But
to each his own.
Yeah.
To each his own. I can't see I've changed my thought on this a little bit in that my solution is I don't support. I have a choice not to support the messages that I don't want to support. But if you think that that's in your best interest to give your money away that way, no problem. I tell you what, I'm going to be the guy to know in 20 years. I can guarantee you that. I guarantee. Like anybody who's in my community now that's helping me support this from like the depths of nothing. Yeah, my loyalty, it goes a long way. Long way.
I don't know if you know Dave Ramsey. I watched his channel, and I feel like there's a lot of things that he talks about that are great, like as far as like how to save money, pay off debt, etc., etc. But when it comes to investing, and he talks about the growth mutual fund, I'm like, oh no, like it drives me crazy because I know a lot of people that watch his channel might not know too much about investing and feel like that's the avenue to go. Where we're living at a time where zero on commission and trades and
all right. Yeah. So let me comment on this, Junior, because you're sticking it in my side here a little bit. Okay. You're right. On the debt reduction side, Dave Ramsey's really good. He's helped a lot of people. We run his debt consolidation portion of it through the military. That's how good it is. Yeah. And I know it's good because we take a poll at the beginning of it. And then at the end of it, the debt that is reduced over the course of a 10-week course is amazing. It's like tens of thousands of dollars worth of debt that people just acknowledge, write down, and then make a plan to pay down. It's crazy what that number is just by going through the course. Here's the thing. You can come onto the Independent Investor channel or any of these other channels and you can watch the content. You can like it or not. At the end of the day, my content specifically, which I vouch for, is free. It's free. Okay. It's free of charge. If I have a group of financial planners, because he has a complete company, it's a huge company. And there's people in that organization that work for me that get a kickback, just like any other financial planner gets the kickback to recommend mutual funds, then therein lies the problem that I have with that. Yeah. If you're recommending a product that's not in the best interest of an individual, that I would go so far as to say that the individual always has the best idea of what's good for them. They just need a little bit of coaching and a little bit of tutelage to understand what's available out there, in the marketplace. But if you don't know about investing, you would have done what I did, and that's sit down and trust the recommendation from a financial planner to enter into 4 mutual funds. And I had no idea that planner got paid a big kickback for putting me into those products. That in and of itself is planned failure for all the reasons that you just suggested. ETFs, index funds, good quality dividend paying companies. None of those 3 are in the best interest of a financial planner to offer to a client. But at the end of the day, those are really the best products to put a non-investor in, somebody who doesn't want to monitor their stuff. All they need to do is just put it to work and let it go. Let it go.
Well, I saw a video. Well, there was a lady, she, I think her and her husband paid off all their debt. They had, I think about, I want to say 50,000 in cash. I think it was like maybe a lot more, but I think it was about 50,000. And then she's like, I'm interested in, investing. She's like, do you suggest putting in great individual stocks? She said it just like that. And he was like, oh, no, too risky. I suggest high growth mutual fund. It was him and another guy named Anthony O'Neill, which I follow him too because he's good with as far as saving money. But when it comes to investing, it's it's completely different. It's high growth mutual fund. You're paying this high fee, and
Yeah.
it's just one of those things that they don't know. And for me, it's like it's cringy because I'm like, come on. It's just I don't know. It just bothers me. But at the same time, I get it because, like you said, he's got a team.
Like,
They're trying to make money.
And that's the thing. Like, I don't want to sit here and suggest that it's like evil. Okay. I don't want to suggest that there's not some good that come out of it. I run the models out 40 years for investors that incur a higher than average expense. And at the end of the day, an investor that's naive will look back over their investment career and say, 500 grand, not bad. The problem is they're missing out on the 1.7 that they could have earned over the course of their lifetime. That's the problem. And a lot of people live and die naive about what they could have done with their financial program. And that's the secret that we want to exploit. And it's contrary to everything that the industry, the financial planning industry, was built around. The whole industry is built around how they can take your God-given right to a Roth IRA and extract as much as they can out of it without you knowing.
Yeah.
That's real talk, man. And hopefully somebody heard me that can get offended by it and challenge me on it because I'm right. And it seems like to be the biggest misconception within the industry now. Folks that are in my circles that follow my channel, they know I'm right. Folks that I really respect, that come back and they're like, yeah, man, you're 100% correct on this. If you just separate it in your mind in that way, it'll be extremely enlightening when you do understand that, it is really two different paths that you put yourself on in your financial world, either doing it yourself or doing it with the assistance of a planner.
Well, you gotta think, guys like Jack Bogle, who started the index fund, the S&P 500, the guys like him. I read his book too, and it's interesting because he saw that back in the day. He's like, you're taking away from these people that have these retirement accounts. You're charging them 2 to 3%, and they're losing all this money. And that's what he got with the S&P 500, VOO, and it's only 0.03%. So that's great for somebody that doesn't want to look at balance sheets or anything like that. Like, hey, I just want to get into the market. I want a low-cost index fund. Top 500 companies in the U.S. Boom, there you go. That's a great way to go. If you're not, if you don't want to, obviously look at individual stocks, that's a great way to put your money in the market. It's an S&P 500, VOO, VTI. I'm sure there's a lot more, but those two, you're golden. You put that in, you'll be fine. You average 10%, right? 8 to 10%.
It's like, but the thing about it is too, Junior, is like, think about this, man. Like, you go and sit across from a financial planner. Do you really think that they want to spend the time coaching you up on the psychology that it takes, the risk tolerance that really needs to be fostered and discovered by that individual before they enter into single stock? That's why they're so adamant about saying, no, it's too risky. No, it's just you don't want to spend the time, or it's not financially advantageous. That's why coming onto a YouTube channel like mine or any of these other fine channel creators makes so much sense. That's why it's ironic to me, the misconception about going onto YouTube and seeking out an awareness piece about personal finance, budget, spending less, how to enter into the stock market using some of these incredible products out there. It makes all the sense in the world to me. And the more people gravitate toward that idea, the better off we're going to be. Honestly, the financial planner at the end of the day does not want to sit there and manage a portfolio of 30 single stocks. They're not getting paid on that, number one. Number two, most investors don't have the upfront tolerance to enter into a 30 stock portfolio anyway. They don't have the tolerance to enter into a 5 stock portfolio. All right. They've got to evolve in that risk tolerance. Some don't, some do, some have. But you see my point, right?
Yeah.
If you're ultimately going to fail yourself out of that and not demonstrate the amount of tolerance that you need, a planner is not going to try to convince you that that's in your best interest. No way. They're just going to put you into a mutual fund, sell you on diversification, and overshadow that expense ratio that you ask about. What is this 1.47% expense here? Oh, that's not going to make any difference over the long term. Really?
It
Run
makes a
the
lot.
amortization. You should be required by law to provide the amortization schedule to that, just like you are required to be provided that when you buy a home.
Yeah. And like I said, if people don't want to and take the time to invest in individual companies, VOO, VTI, those index funds, they're great. But yeah, it's just when I see stuff like that on his channel, it's just like but everything else is good, and I like his rants too. They're actually pretty funny.
Yeah, they are. They are.
They're hilarious. But I'm gonna hop off, Ryan. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
You got it, Junior.
And I'll definitely be back on.
You got it, my man. Take it easy. Be well. Be safe this week up there. All right.
All right. Thank you, man. Appreciate you too as
well.
All
right, buddy. Later.
Peace, man.
Very cool. Very enjoyable live stream. Very awesome. Want to thank the guest for the robust discussions. I've almost got this timed down. I've got about 11 minutes to go. I'm going to try to get through some of these comments in the thread. I want to thank you guys for keeping the discussion live over here. It's pretty awesome. Some pretty cool stuff, man. You guys throwing out some picks there with Visa, Conoco, Phillips, Honeywell, Delta. You got to be careful with the airlines here for sure. And Discovery has just been on fire, no doubt about it. DFS is not a company that I've invested in personally. I own Visa here in FinTech, and I do. American Express is looking more and more attractive, but haven't justified owning any more financials. I did take a stab at Travelers here. I declared that Wednesday in the brokerage account, as well as a double position in JP Morgan Chase, which I was glad to take here as recessed as it is. So financials definitely look very intriguing, as well as oil right here. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and shy away from one of the most important sectors out there, which is our energy sector that is just absolutely being brutalized right now. Really looks attractive. Some of these names like a Valero for sure really look good. ConocoPhillips right up there in the top. I love the big players here. I do own Royal Dutch Shell, but it's come off so much that I'm just going to wait that position out. I have a larger position in that and earning the dividends in the ExxonMobil and Chevron as well. Chevron probably the most attractive, at least with some level of commitment to the dividend this week. That was nice to hear. From the CEO of Chevron. So definitely some quality there to be had, not for the faint of heart. Don't over lever your portfolio to oil. It's not one of those sectors that I would recommend, at least for a beginning investor that's looking to get a little bit of balance in their portfolio to over lever to it, but certainly looking attractive. But I think Honeywell is probably the top industrial pick right here. I really do. That's why I picked up a 50 share block of Honeywell this week, beginning of this week, on my initiative to build up that. So very cool. Investing with Jason. I've seen investing with Jason pop in. Make sure and pop in at the start of the live stream. And I'll give you a shout out at the beginning of the stream if you weren't already in here from the beginning. And if I missed it, I do apologize. But I'll give you that shout out for sure. Larry Massa's in the group. That's awesome. Do it. He ain't gonna do it, man. That ain't gonna happen. Actually, if he made a cameo appearance right now, I would say there's nobody in here, but there's 227 diehards in here. So I'm not really sure how the YouTube algorithm treats me by saying that there's only about 22 minutes average view time. Maybe that is accurate. Who knows? But I think it'd be funny. I would fall out of my chair. I think it'd be fun. Eventually he'll pop on for sure. That's cool. And I think he's trying to keep his anonymity, which is important when you're trying to run a social media outlet, I might add, to keep that anonymity, because that's not what it's about. Define irony for me, guys. I got J&J, AbbVie, Pfizer, CVS. So you're going after healthcare in a big way. So I do agree with that from a sector wide perspective. I like Baxter and I like Abbott Laboratories as well. Obviously, Medtronic was high on my list as well. But yeah, healthcare looks really, really juicy right here for sure. It's really, really good. Pfizer with the higher than dividend, and I pushed that out at 30. That was a good entry on Pfizer. But yeah, it'll be fun to watch Pfizer as well. J&J tops the list there for sure. Investing, so very cool. Rebecca says, so true. This month was the first time I learned enough dividends in my M1 account to trigger an automatic buy. It's a small milestone. That's rocking. Very cool. I would have included you on the shout out of the week this week, Rebecca. Thank you. And thank you for what you do. That's very cool. Another channel creator. That's awesome. I want to make sure and give you guys the shout outs at the top of the live stream. I may devote the first 10, 15 minutes of the stream to just my acknowledgments, so everybody is understanding of who are subscribers and who are content creators. I like to separate that, give the subscribers the opportunity to go and subscribe to each and every one of the channels, and it's free of charge. It costs you nothing to do. We work some magic on Jamie's channel for sure. And for that, I feel real proud of that. That was really cool. At least we manufactured a little bit of work back for him. And I didn't see Jamie in the group here tonight. He may be deep in the thread, but no big deal if not. But that was pretty cool. That was really cool. Brian Scott says, "What's up? What's up? Just spending my Friday talking about money. My favorite topic, personal finance. It's a good one, man, for sure. Hit my first goal this week when the account went over 10,000. So I've always said, man, you'll get a big congratulations from me. I do contend that $10,000 mark is the hardest threshold for people to meet. Why do I say that? Because the majority of people do not have it. The majority of people do not have it. Way too many people in this country have way too much household debt, and way too many people in this country do not have enough savings to get them through one unexpected expenditure. Those are facts. Those are not my opinions. So anybody who comes on to the Independent Investor Channel live stream and declares a $10,000 milestone has been met, this is actually one of the very first videos that I've made in the chronicle of my or my catalog of videos talking about thresholds, money thresholds. And I think I said during that video, I said, if you're able to meet these, come on and declare on the channel what you met. And I will be the first to congratulate you, because the 10,000 is great, but it just goes to show that you can deploy, put to action, and put to real results some of the fundamental disciplines that we're talking about on the channel. And I think that's incredible. You can't overestimate or underestimate the amount of what that means to me. You bet, because that's what we're looking to do. We're looking to empower people. And quite frankly, with the separation of income gap between the haves and the have-nots, people who are working regular jobs, maybe just doing what they need to do to get by, they need to also be experiencing some of that success. And if they tune into the channel and see that Jeff Smith was able to meet that threshold, maybe they can say, I can do it too. And you can. All right. I'll be your biggest champion. All right. How are the dividends paid? Does the company send a check in the mail, or does it go? It goes directly into the platform, Chris. But I would highly encourage you to look at the possibility to repay those dividends through a dividend reinvestment program. So as small as that dividend payment might be, it might just be a couple dollars when you start. You want to make sure and roll that $2 back into the underlying security. In other words, you'll take that couple dollars and rebuy a small piece of that stock back with the dividends paid. And you might think, okay, Ryan, well, every quarter I'm just getting a few bucks. What gives? Well, what gives is the next quarter you'll be paid on that amount that you were paid the dividend plus the amount of the dividend that you rolled back into the underlying stock, and then you're repaid a new dividend. And as that starts to compound over time, that in fact is what accelerates the compounding effect within a particular stock. We talk about compounding annual growth rates all the time. And if you go to Seeking Alpha, it's really something that you're going to want to become familiar with to kind of gauge the opportunity that you may have as a shareholder to enjoy dividend growth over time. So not only are you being paid dividends year in and year out, it's fairly it's fairly expected that over time, those good companies are going to look to increase the dividend payout to you, thus accelerating your compounding effect over the dividends paid. But hopefully that answers your question. I just by nature always set up my account to dividend reinvest every holding that's eligible to do so. And that's the way I want to do it. I don't need the few dollars, and it can turn into something that's a lot more than a few dollars. I just declared Gen X's portfolio just hit the $50,000 a year mark. So this is no joke. That this really can turn into something special. But you got to be able to exercise some real discipline for many, many years to render that level of success. And you can do it. You can do it. Absolutely. Yeah, hopefully that answers your question. Thank you for that. That's awesome. Very cool. Very cool. All right. Kind of getting to the end. He says, I'm back. He probably had his bourbon. I don't blame you. I'm half tempted to have my beer. We're all going on about 2 hours, guys. I'm just going to stream through here and make sure that I didn't miss a whole lot. No, I don't think I did, guys. So I didn't have a chance to get to my agenda. I typically don't have a chance to get my agenda. I do want to thank the guests that came on, Jaden and Junior. Really cool, man. I had a good time. I would expect that Matt Money is here next Friday. First one off the bat. So I'm going to announce it now. Next Friday's live stream will be myself and Matt Money. He's on the screen here, enjoying his Friday live stream with me, laughing his ass off right now, because I'm just a really funny guy, but I'm kind of serious about him coming on next Friday. So stay tuned for that. It'd be a lot of fun. With regard to the current market, market's kind of in no man's land here. And I've kind of called and forecasted that I believe that we're going to be in some choppy times right here. I would think to have a 10 or a 15% retracement from these levels would not be out of the cards. I really do think that this has been very, very premature from a retracement from the March 23rd lows. And I think I would encourage everybody to throttle down on their risk off appetite. And I would deploy a little bit of a risk on type of activity here. I don't mean to scare anybody. Continue to invest for the long term. If you're a beginning investor, certainly I think you're fine. But if you've got a lot of capital at risk here and you're in any of the two camps that I talked about at the top of the live stream, I would really, really encourage you guys to take caution over this market here, and make sure that you're investing in the highest quality for the long term, and making sure that you're not chasing this current market here, because I think it does have the potential to get a little uglier from here. So make sure that your core holdings are set. Make sure that you do, if you've been provided the opportunity to raise a little cash here in preparation for a little bit of choppy markets over the next couple months for sure. At least getting us into the fall. I think it's going to be choppy going through the entire summer, guys. I really do. So that's just my 2 cents on the market. If you were lucky enough to be one of the 210 still joining me on the live stream, you were wiser for it. I think you would agree with me on that. I think the bottom is in. I don't think we go past the March 23rd low that we did in 2020. It just doesn't feel right. It felt right at the time in that it was capitulation, dropping. And I just think this market is different now. I think it could go down, 500, 1,000 points next week, and it would feel different. And there's a reason for that. But I'm not going to get into it tonight. We will continue the discussion next Friday. Me and Matt will hit it off. He's probably still laughing at me, but that's fine. That's an open invite to the channel, Matt, for sure. I hope everything is well with you and everyone else who's taken the time to come in and spend 2 hours with me. I really appreciate you guys. Be well. Have a great weekend, and we will catch you again next Friday. Thanks a lot, guys. Cheers.